also kind of bid themselves move, but we'll see. The last one is going to be Kagura. Oh, actually, it's going to be the Eudora.
It rhymed though.
Yeah, I heard that wrong, but ooh, this is going to be an interesting one.
It is going to be Benedetta on Psycho. We did see this in the group stages.
Very, very likely that he might just be on this Benedetta. Good call right there. And, you know, this is the second carry that we're seeing, the very first one being picked up by the side of Edge. The problem the other time is that the lack of tank, and of course they pay the price, but it does force the Benedetta to play a little bit more defensively as well. Don't you guys think?
I would like to agree with that. It depends on certain conditions. Are they going to be playing on the top side of the map? Are they going to play on the bottom side of the map? Is Benedetta going to go with the opener where she cuts the midway before rotating back up? There's a lot of different openings that Benedetta can do, which I think is what makes her so versatile and what makes everybody kind of want to first pick her in these situations.
RRQ Hoshi, they have their draft locked. Omega Esports, they picked the Roger for their last pick. In terms of the draft, how are you guys taking this? Let's start with you, Gidjon.
I'm leaning more a little bit towards RRQ because again, their composition is a lot easier to pull off. However, Omega, a lot of mechanical work going to be put into it, so that's a possibility to actually mess up. So that's why I'm leaning more towards the easier comp to pull off.
Leo,
I will go the other way. This is a fork road, and I think Omega Esports route because their lineup looks very 2021. It looks very M2, right? It covers all the bases. You know exactly who is going, and it makes sense to me. So I'm saying Omega.
Yeah, and I honestly can't choose one, but if I have to pick, I'm also going with Omega side for the moment here, as I could definitely see that they have pretty much of a clear-cut way to just go in for certain picks, and for the carry to be activated, it does take a little while. We talked about current speed, and well, I want to see it come online, but can it come online?
So we will head on to the Celestial Palace, and gentlemen, please take the floor.
Here we go. RRQ Hoshi versus Omega Esports. Starting it off, let's figure exactly what's going on. This pause here gives us time to understand who's laning where. Of course, Vin for sure taking the mid lane. You got R7 up top. And yeah, I think when it comes to the problem of the clear speed, there's a reason why the support hero or the roamer, let's call it the roamer, is always going to come try to visit whoever's playing that carry. I think that's going to be key here.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, the big question is when you have a weaker, or sorry, not a weaker, but a susceptible side laner like carry. Vulnerable, that's the word. Yes, perfect. And you want to have mid priority. Push in that way, be able to rotate. Because as long as you're there first, you can set your feet deep in those trenches so that when your opponents come to attack, you have a very fortified position and you also know exactly where to kind of position yourself.
Yeah, let's also talk about the level 4 spikes as well when we come down to where it's a full-blown fist fight as they are tending for perhaps the first turtle, right? Like, I think it's really interesting where the Garage right here because you on the opposite end you have the jaw hit as well as Selena, which of course poses a threat. But that one-shot potential also when 1-1 tries to go up in the air, tries to execute the ultimate, and you
did not pick up Eudora, then they would all the more just lose early and mid. Having the Eudora kind of shores up that level 4 spike because they kind of have a dead hero in carry. A level 4 carry doesn't perform very different from a level 2 carry or a level 6 carry.
I mean, you can honestly say that for pretty much every other marksman except for Yi Shin, whose ultimate is more utility than anything else.
True, and 1-1. That's the reason why she's still relevant. As soon as you can hit crossbow Tang, you are invulnerable. So technically you can just go pew, 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 pew. Not the same for carry. Carry is always going to be in trouble even if she hits her ult. So yeah, most definitely they are going to rely very heavily on Vin.
I don't know, because from Omega's side, like, if this is going to be an execution problem, can you land those abyssal arrows? Can you be aggressive early on? And I think that might be, that's going to be really, really difficult here. But, you know, Psycho did take the Benedetta first, so he cleared midwave as soon as possible, allowing Ling to kind of rotate down to get that blue, and while the rest of the team is just going to make sure, hey, I'm going to push those waves as soon as possible.
Yeah, we do see a lot of pressure going on towards the 1-1 side, and I think it's still pretty much decent that we see some clear rotations on the 2-2-1 setup coming from the side of Omega Esports. So this will be self-sustaining for the moment, and well, what's to say that lane possibly will be having a lot of all these great vision. We're going to be going on under pause as we talk through things. Now, a double execute setup coming from the side of RRQ Hoshi also poses a little bit of that early trend too.
That is something to note. So yeah, now that we have more better vision on what things are looking like for both teams, this is a roaming Benedetta. So it's neither that off tank Benedetta, nor is it like the full damage Benedetta. It's something in between. It's something that's looking to use parry to actually stun someone, like bait them in, so that the likes carry here can actually just go ham.
I mean, of course, but the best role to call it is the mid laner, because actually what you want the Eudora to do is actually be that initial roamer, because Eudora can chase, sure, but who's going to initiate those picks and chances to and abuse those double executes? Eudora, she chunks them all out, puts them on 1 HP, bam, press of a button, didn't have to do anything else.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Benedetta. Benedetta and Eudora are going to be working to keep mid in control, yes. And then
Gotcha.
Benedetta is going to be using those sword intents to actually act like a backshot, to have additional mobility, right? Like that's not fair. That is an off-kit dash. That's not in anywhere of your skills.
Yeah, and be really annoying to deal against. And RQ side of things, it's really interesting that they found out about this formula in this game 1 to try to throw side of Omega off. But when we talk about scaling as well, I'm just looking at most of all these 1-on-1 that has been playing the entirety of the playoffs as well as the group stages. If you just give them a little bit more room towards the late game, hey man, this thing is going to strike you apart.
That's a good question now. There's a marksman on either side, which by the way has been a menace in every meta game she was ready for, that she was in. First phase bannable in years past. You have the 1-1, which is the current flavor of the month. Gideon, I gotta ask you, man, when it comes to the 15-20 minutes, it get to that point, if we go the distance, who was
I think in these situations, people better scaling would definitely lean a little bit more. Actually, it's an overall thing, but hold on, let's check out. Okay, no fights going on. Okay, so when I talk about scaling, we're talking about the two main heroes that scale on either side, but you also have to kind of look at the build that everybody else goes through. I do think RRQ Hoshi scales better into the game because they have more relevant heroes in comparison to Omega, where some of them are just going to fall off completely.
Yeah. And again, we were talking about like Selena. Whenever Selena is bad, she's so bad. But on the other side, Eudora though, she has a stun, and it's point and click. So yeah, it's just much better. Totally understand. Right now, that's mid to break out both top and in mid. I wonder they're gonna catch one. That's going to be flicker out. Keep turning it already 2 minutes in, and the first turtle is gonna be started in by Psycho.
Such a great reaction coming from the side of Heath as he has already read the situation. Keep in mind that there's also going to be that link. If he sets up a perfect tempest onto some of these team fights, it could be a huge one out there. And when we talk about these two sides, of course, it's definitely going to be hard to tell, like, okay, which one gets activated first when we talk about the marksman. Because, honestly, the carry is going to take a little bit of time before getting like the golden staff or the demon hunter sword or stuff like that. Yeah. But, yeah, like back to what was being meant by Gideon, it's a little bit more easier to execute compared to Mega.
Yeah, and especially at the highest levels, right? You want to minimize your possibilities of making that mistake, and the more that you can minimize it, the higher chance of more consistency you can receive. Oh, here it comes.
That's gonna be 4 members for Hoshi coming in. Oh, and they're so aggressive. Lemon gets taken out here, drawn by Hajizi. Blossom turtle, and that's gonna be some revenge from her taking out Mr. Fundamental himself. That's gonna be 2 going over to RRQ, taking down Kenji. And are they done? The answer is yes. Omega Esports don't want more of this.
All I gotta say is, big ouch. I mean, Omega, they saw 2 of their guys go down fast. Hajizi is like, nah, get me out of here. I don't want any of that no more.
Yeah, R7 rushes the scene and is like, okay, Big Dragon coming through, and you know the case is pretty much close right there. So 2-1 at the very moment. Honestly, the small little lead that they are getting from the side of RRQ Hoshi can still be contested right here in this sort of way, but Unstoppable Force has already used up.
Ooh, defense Psycho, final blow right there by Psycho saving himself. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Omega Esports here. They're building up their confidence. They did lose that big team fight inside the Turtle Pit Earth. They are maintaining this small gap to RRQ Hoshi, about 200-300 gold. But right now, we're looking to how RRQ Hoshi can kind of make that gap a little bigger. What big move will they do next? Or will they just let Omega Esports go in and make them pay with a counter attack?
I think if I was in Omega's position, I'm starting to look for picks around buff timings, which is going to be like you're targeting Ling to make sure, hey, if Ling is on the purple buff, I want to look to try and punish him as he's trying to clear that area of the jungle. And if not, oh, he's there. Let's rotate down to bottom side until they get caught out.
Being caught out here, Hajizi has just arrived, but instant response coming from Lemon just to click away.
I think both of these teams kind of this like interesting side quest of besides these neutral objectives, we also want to take down these side lane marksmen, and takes quite the blow, but he's saying, sir, can I have some more? He wants to go for another fight because he does have his ult on, and oh no, that's gonna be Psycho barely getting away. Oh, and the delay damage from the trap and the slow taken in. Oh, Ellie Hayes just catches him off.
You know, talk about really unlucky there, because he does use the final blow to try and negate the damage, but unfortunately it's just like literally 0.2 seconds off from the delayed damage, but the fight is already beginning. Heath is going to make the run for it.
And R7 here in half dragon form, able to push people back because he still has some G. Oh, it resets. Curtizi here putting a beat on him, and are going for what I think is the second turtle of the game. It's quite a while. And Hajizi, he says the coast is clear, but for how much longer?
Well, I believe that it's pretty much clear for him at the moment if we look at it, but they are focusing on towards Kinston. They do get the turtle, but a 2v1 commencing down towards the bottom side doesn't result too much, but here comes the big one.
Oh no, Vin here to save his life, and all from behind, in comes Hajizi. The machine is online, and so far they have gone to build confidence to mess with Albert, but some breathing room for the King of Kings here, their jungler. He's able to get his purple at least.
Yeah, he's got the purple. He really goes in for a little wander as well. Now, the invasion, he's still going to be chased up, so, you know, Link thinks he could easily move around.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like, we've got to catch on it. Oh, yeah, it's Ling. Oh, that's so much fun. He just jumps away and makes a full rotation down towards our top or bottom side and we can't catch up. Fun stuff. But I think RRQ at this point in time, as long as they kind of just maintain the goal differential to about 2 to 3K, it's going to be relatively fine. Omega won't be able to kind of force situations on top of RRQ unless they get a catch.
Yeah, here you can see already, right? We're about 7 minutes into this game. How disciplined, how good these two teams are. Oh, that's going to be some burst damage laid down onto Vin, but he doesn't go by Yelly Ace destroyed. Tempest of Blades here, chasing him down. That's Albert looking for one. Psycho finds Hajizi. That's going to be a shutdown onto the Roger, and they are sitting neck and neck, 4-4. But all this time, Omega Esports was just setting up a push.
Otis Morgan has arrived, and they're already chasing right in. Psycho caught in between. But are trying to make an escape out of that.
Oh, R7 waiting. She's all using the tail of the dragon. They're trying to make Kenji pay. He does get himself a Cyclone Eye, but off camera. Lemon taken down. It's a marksman and marksman fight. And easy winning down bottom.
Definitely we're going to be having to look towards itemizations as well, because at this point it's getting a lot more interesting. Gideon, just looking at things, we've already got some big stuff coming in the way.
Honestly, we're looking at Lemon, who only just has his endless battle here. We're looking over at Cardizi. He's already got the Demon Hunter sword on top of the boots, on top of that corrosive sight. So he's going to be pretty relevant into this game. He might not be doing the most amount of damage, but at the very least, he's slowing them down for the rest of his team to kind of catch up and take out.
Looking at Hajizi, he is halfway through his endless battle as they go for this turtle. The very late in the game. Ooh, looking for it. There you go. They take the turtle. It's a Mexican standoff. It's just who's gonna pull the trigger first, who's gonna jump in with their ults and start it strong. And I think situation without R7, Omega Esports has the advantage, especially with the reach that the Abyssal Arrow has.
Yeah, and he is all the way on the other side of the map, and they've already understand that. Oh, flicker right in!
It's there, onto one. That's going to be Vin blasted down by 4 Omega Esports.
That was huge. Absolutely.
It's just a mistake on Vin's side. He threw out the stun and realized, oh, I got nothing. If I already flickered out of the way, this doesn't mean anything. And he just took full advantage, flickering forward an unstoppable force. But Courtesy now going to initiate a huge fight, and that's going to be a double pickoff for Omega just to get that return kill. Look at that, 5 to 8, and it's only a 2K difference.
It's so clinical, these two teams, the way they play. I mean, this cliche has been mentioned. I'm pretty sure I'm beating a dead horse, but it's so chess-like, right? I'll give up my pawn, you can have a rook, but then after that I'll take a bishop. That's what this 5-8 is looking like, actually with this, relatively small 3K lead.
Indeed, but for the RRQ side, they're slowly losing pieces after pieces on an unequal term. And speaking of which, they're going to be taking this buff if they don't do anything.
Ooh, that's going to be Psycho coming in between 4 members. He G trying to look for a good hook, and he finds it. In comes easy, but that's gonna be a stun. Psycho pays the price. R7 says, "Get out of our jungle. We don't want y'all here." But Hajizi wants more. Does he have the support? Yes, he does. Oh, they're waiting. They're waiting. They say we're calling it tough.
Nah, it's not worth it at this point because, again, their main target here is Cortese. As long as he has his ult, it's just not worth going for anybody else unless it's maybe a Yelly Haze, but Yelly Haze is barely in the fight. Even Kenji, but even Kenji has his ult still up.
That's right, and with that being said, we're looking at Omega Esports side. Now that they are so much more up ahead after a couple of all these sort of things, they're starting to feel a lot more confident about taking every single thing that they have inside the jungle. All they can do is just wait for the right moment to strike in. We have the Lord up available, but over here, a little bit of a slight 1v1 between Albert as well as Kenji.
Oh, it's just the battle of swords and sights, and here comes Lemon Tempest of Blades. Barely misses. Oh, he's got some dashes here. He's trying to grab. Oh, there you go. Full range stun here by Yelly Haze. Gonna be using the dashes, trying to get out of there. Not enough to save Lemon. That's 1 for free. Oh, this is why they were going for the Lord. Psycho goes down. Hajizi takes him. Here comes R7. Oh, wow. A dragon helps the Lord get stolen by R7. That's going to be R7 surviving. Oh, I think it's worth it already. Crossbow of Tang. 4 members down. Traded off for the Lord. Oh.
No way. No absolute way. Even though they do get the Lord, just look at the Ruby right down below. Like, this Lord doesn't mean a thing at all after getting snatched away, but at least it buys some time for RRQ Hoshi.
I mean, they're up by 5 towers at this point. RRQ Hoshi has not been able to kind of break through. Omega will be stopping that Lord right in its tracks. And I mean, if they had more of a wave on to mid upside, they might have been able to get both inhibitors at the same time. And I think Hoshi, this game is slowly slipping out of their hands.
I hate to say it, but stealing that Lord at that very moment is the equivalent of using a band-aid on a bullet wound. It held them back for what, 30 seconds tops? And they're still maintaining that pressure.
Yeah, and of course, with that, they only gained maybe very slight edges out of that by just putting their bodies at where all these sort of bullets are coming through, and they just have to do something just to have that knee-jerk response. And while at it, I guess they just have to wait for another sort of opening at this moment, which is not going to come by, not until 20 minutes or so.
Speaking of 20 minutes, Gideon seems to know what timers are like. And Gideon, what's your feel, man, right now before this fight happens? Oh, it actually has started. Too late. Cortese gets blasted by Finn. They're looking for some revenge here. Vindication. That's what Omega Esports is looking for. They take out Yelly Haze. R7 is a man mission. They're going to blast this turret and push Omega Esports back in. Now, that timer, man, 13 minutes in. How until we see Lemon pop off?
I mean, honestly, let's double check the items so I have a better idea of what where is he with that? Lemon is currently at 6,000 gold. He's got 2 items, both pretty defensive. He doesn't even have the golden staff yet. I think at this point of time, he needs to get the golden staff to have that major kick of damage. So he'll probably get that at the 42,000 gold mark. So my guess is going to be the 16 or I'll give him a bit of credit if he doesn't die and works perfectly. 15-30.
Ooh, very close. And that's Kenji flickering in enough to save him. Tempest ablaze. Oh no, Albert don't want none of this. And Hajizi putting a beat on him. There's the unstoppable force from behind. Can they juggle the aggression from under the turret? Kenji's still alive. destroyed. Hachizi gets it. He puts the nail in the coffin. It's a trade so far. Hachizi for Lemon. The fight continues. Kenji's looking low. That's a blast onto Heath. Vin takes down. This turret still stands, and only RRQ can win fights that way. Going back and forth, back and forth.
And they are just forcing fights by hook or by crook. There's no other way to go about it. They don't care if they lose one member as long as they get more in return.
Live is starting to become a bit of a problem for Omega at this point. I think that's where the executional part of it is starting to kick in, because as you see, Yelly Haze, he's not landing as many abyssal arrows, and even if he does, he's probably not going to be able to capitalize on it in comparison to Vin, who just goes in full combos, walks away and says, R7, go get him, boy.
Yeah, and we've already seen purchases like the Blade of the Heptaseas coming in as well, so very much interesting as we hit towards the 15-minute mark. That we are much at equal level terms after so many fights. RRQ Hoshi, not in the number of kills, but the goal has already been equal.
Oh yeah, barely 1,000 now, barely 1,000. RRQ Hoshi, the King of Kings, have figured out this strategy, and just like that, I think Gideon is on the mark pretty much. About what, 3 minutes away since today, and right now, Omega Esports isn't as confident around.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I mean, honestly, I was off by 30 seconds that got his Winds of Nature, and that's going to be a huge buy, because that means Cartesian as well as Kenji can't take full advantage of him.
Things are looking relatively difficult at the very moment. While these abyssal arrows being sent to Demon Hunter's store, being purchased by GZ, so a little bit more spike coming in for the Roger, which is definitely great news for Omega at this point in time.
Yep.
You see a little bit of split being done by RRQ Hoshi,
Oh yeah.
and they're still not letting their eyes off as Omega Esports still eyeing on towards the Lord.
Yep, that's the advantage that Albert has here as the lane. He's able to push these lanes, cut him where he needs to without any punish, actually, because of pinch poison. That's exactly what he's doing. But it looks like Omega knows he's up there. Omega wants to make the most of the situation and is trying to force a fight with RRQ. What they're trying to do is catch one off at least, and that's a good -1. A -1 goes miles in situations like this.
This is a situation that they are looking for, making sure that somebody takes good care of the side lanes, and as many of these Omega Esports members goes there, they will try to find a setup over on towards the Lord side.
Oh wait, is there not a fight? No, oh no, they backed away. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, they catch one. That's full stuns onto Vin. Oh.
Honestly, at this point in time, it's a game of cat and mouse. Whoever gets picked off first is going to essentially win or lose the fight. But I have to point out here, it's 9-14. They're 3 towers ahead. They're literally 5 kills ahead as well. And it is 49.2k to 49.8k. Where is the disparity here? There is almost no disparity at all, even though in every single numbers and 2 turtles on top of stats. How is Omega not ahead? RRQ has just been proficient in their way of farming.
If I may build on that, it's a game of cat and mouse where neither is sure which they are. Right? It's also a playing game of cat and mouse, and it's very important to check your bushes right now. And the one person or one team who has, when it comes to the range and the vision, is Omega Esports. Now Heath, Cat Lyco. Oh, they catch Kenji off guard in the Omega Esports side of the jungle towards the purple. That's a huge -1 for Omega. I wonder how Omega's gonna just recover from here.
That's right, a big opening that they have managed to find just by having the bed, pulling all the attention, and now they fixate their attention on towards it. They want Omega to commit. Without that Ruby, things are definitely going to look a little bit haywire in this sort of fight.
Sideways. If you ask me, sideways for Omega Esports. This time that's a huge chunk of life steal and of crowd control. And I think what Omega Esports trying to do is reset.
I think at this point it's about finding the opportunity to get the angle, because right now look at that bottom wave. It's pushing in naturally. As long as RRQ just kind of chill and just wait, somebody's going to have to deal with that slowly building up wave. And RRQ, they don't mind doing it because they are scaling towards the late game. And Omega, they've run out of time at this point, and they have to solely believe in their own mechanics to actually win them out in these bigger fights.
That's right, and now we're hitting 8:30. With most of the members already hitting level 15, and I guess this is where it's all about finding your items at this point in time.
At M2, or at least, and even the playoffs specifically, when you reach the 18-20 minute mark, that's basically a marathon. Like, this is longer than usual already. And right now, with Kenji back on the map, they have eyes on Albert since he is pushing down bottom. I think Omega Esports is just going to jump the gun. They're just going to go for it, saying, start it up, start it up. Just hope that Finn isn't there and that Albert isn't ready with the retribution.
Oh, this is going to be big news here. Ruby is being pretty occupied, but they understand once again. They're going to go in for another reset, but Heath, though, playing with fire.
Oh, he got caught out. That's at least one ultimate from Vin. They have the timer. They have to make sure that inside, deep inside, they know what it looks like for the opponent, what kind of firepower they're packing. And wow, again, they're back to the game of how low can you get lured before the opponent actually jumps in, bites.
Yeah, and left only 60%. Easily can just find his way to live steal Prolific Roar on the hands of Cortese. And yeah, very much interesting.
Just keep your eyes like while this boomerang game of who can get the Lord lowest before resetting, just the opposite side of the map here, because you can see that Ling as well as Ruby are both trying to make sure those lanes are clean. And RRQ, simple macro here, just get away pushing on their side, because again, if Omega Esports walks out too far, you can punish. If one person goes over, you start the Lord. You put them between a rock and a hard place, and eventually somebody is gonna crack.
Yeah, and if we do look at the goal differentials, it honestly doesn't matter at this point in time, where most people have already completed all their items, and being up ahead means that they are shoving way harder towards Omega.
Dude, check out that graph, man. Omega dominating the first half of the game, and then RRQ Hoshi just slowly catching up. If only Omega was able to close out that game. Man, they must be kicking themselves like, oh, only we had that Lord, and it did get stolen just now.
That's essentially the story of the past 5 minutes. The past 5 minutes have been RRQ Hoshi just applying pressure on Omega Esports. And some part of it, I believe, is just conditioning. Like, slowly but surely, RRQ Hoshi has been saying, all right, if you don't do anything about this, Albert's just going to push and penetrate your lane down bottom. And right now, again, back to the game of hot potato on this Lord. It's a matter of allotting resources. How much are you willing to put on the line to be able to take this huge objective? Now, Psycho at half health. And now it's Lemon they send over. Oh, this is gonna be a push.
Yeah, and that's my attention actually fixating on towards the lower side of the map, and with that, RQ still wants to dance up death. How are we going at it finally?
Oh, they're going in. This is no turning back. That's Heath getting blasted. He's still alive. R7 with the black dragon form. Tempest ablaze in here. That's gonna be a knockup on the Psycho. R7 pushed back. That's gonna be Vin taken down by Hajizi. Oh, it's looking grim. Heath destroyed from the back line by Psycho. That's gonna be 2 for 1. Lemon destroyed by Hajizi. And now the wolf, the machine, is on the chase. Psycho. Oh, he needs the Cyclone Eye. Oh, he's gonna get it. But inside the orange buff pit, that's gonna be the Hajizi run. Taken down one last 1 for 3. Is this enough space for the Lord?
This should be plenty of space for the Lord, actually. Unless Albert makes a bad steal here, which I don't think he's going to do. In most situations, Lynx are just going to cut the wave. But considering the wave still has a long way to go.
Oh, the burst is just too much. That's what, 4 members? Omega Esports? Oh man, RRQ Hoshi's very own R7 was a little too optimistic.
Yeah.
Absolutely wall right there. You can see Albert can only fly around just to see this Lord go in the hands of Omega Esports. And I'm pretty sure the Filipino fans here rejoice after that long dance. And it all started from sending Lemon right down below, and Omega Esports knows, okay, we can actually catch them out of position. And that's where that 3-for-1 trade didn't go anywhere as for RRQ.
I think RRQ at this point in time, it's just a game of cat and mouse, because again, there's nothing much they can really do about it in most of these situations. If they put themselves too far out, they get caught out by Heath. And you know what? Speaking of Heath, in that last fight, he preemptively flickered forward, thinking somebody would be further and deeper into the brush. Ends up they were standing right in front of him, and he just blew his flicker for no reason. Here comes Luminous Lord.
Oh, but he got away with it anyways, right? Here we go now. Finally, the first inhibitor taken down, and it's going to be on the side of RRQ Hoshi. That's going to get quite a few ults spent by RRQ to take down Lord, alongside that inhibitor up top as well. So it's a 2 for none, relatively clean for Omega Esports. Impressive how they're able to just and just gather themselves more, especially after earlier how RRQ Hoshi was slowly turning the whole map blue.
Right, and now Psycho tries to cut off the way, but
That's going to be Hajizi running away. Mortality popped in here. Vin destroyed by Kurt to hurt Teasy, and now Hajizi. That's going to be R7 taking him down. It's so far a 1-4-1, and right now Albert destroyed once more by the 1-1, and they're going in. That's a lot of damage coming in from Lemon. That's Heath. Mr. Fundamental destroyed, and right now that's another pull. Lemon survives. Oh, I think he's going to heal up because they're still ready. They're going for this half health on all members of Omega Esports. They may have been going in too deep, and I think the investment has already been spent. R7 destroyed. That's going to be 1. Oh, Heliali Hayes, that's going to be 2. They're trading back and forth. 2 members left.
Good plays coming from RRQ Hoshi. Even though they had a bad situation, they just had to make sure that they understand who scales into this game. Okay, Albert dies. Who do we have to depend on? Lemon. If you have to throw your body in to buy some time, then throw your body. Just like what they're doing out now, it's going to be a 2v2 situation.
Oh, they triggered the crossbow tang, but Psycho gets away.
Oh no.
All the range. Oh, that's going to be a pull by Kenji. And that's Lemon. That's Lemon finally shut down. And that's 2 defenders, though. Vin is back in here, so that's some wave clear on the side of RRQ Hoshi.
just look at it, 50 over seconds if you go down at this point of time. RRQ Hoshi at the very least still have 3 members up, so this is where Omega Esports can continue to apply the pressure. And more than about 2 minutes in towards the game, we'll see possibly the final lord, but they might not even need it right now.
Electro final blow used to clear the waves, but Curtisi will take down the turret. Anyways, what is this? About a minute away from the 3rd Lord, and Lemon's gonna be coming in on time. So I think for RRQ Hoshi, just buckle in. Just wait for Lemon to come in, and I don't know, man. Whatever you did with Vin for the 1st Lord, do that again.
But at this point in time, if you actually lose at least 3 members by just snatching the Lord away, yeah, maybe you might get away with, you know, that Lord just marching towards the enemy side and you have like a full send of Omega Esports army just at your base by that point in time. So, Curtisi having 1 final slot uncompleted, but what's to say? I think he really packs a punch at this one time.
I think he packs a punch too. I think they all honestly pack a punch. And the real problem right now is that they can't seem to get onto the scaling heroes. Lemon just refuses to die. Albert, he buys so much time, especially when he jumps into the backline here, that Omega Esports can only deal with 1 problem at a time. And Kenji, he's going to be staying very close to Curtisi more often than not, just to kind of protect him with the I'm offended and making sure that he taunts the right people to buy that time to allow Curtisi to at the very least have enough weakness procs just so they can use his ultimate in a clutch situation.
Yep, and we've seen earlier, a crossbow fang is not a confirmed kill. Not at all, because of how this Rome Benedetta is playing in right now. That's going to be a fight. I think they're picking. Oh, Vin gets caught out. Oh, he lets out the ult. That's going to be flame shot used already by Yelly Hayes. And now GD destroyed by Lemon from the back line. Step at the blade here by Albert. That's going to be traced left and right. Kenji down, as well as Hajizi. 2 for 1. I think they are ripe for the Lord take.
Yeah, and we just saw the positioning of Lemon initially was a little bit questionable, but when he flickered to get that position, to get that first opening, it started to make sense where the rest of RRQ Hoshi will be able to penetrate through from a very awkwardly positioned Omega Esports.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Omega didn't just jump onto Lemon there. Like, he was free, and you can see that the unstoppable force was up there. They were just waiting out the winds of nature, but that's just like a second long. So it's kind of on Omega, who I think we're in disbelief. Like, no way he's doing this. This is kind of troll, right?
Again. Give carry, 1.2 seconds of free hits, especially with full lock items like this. You're in for a bad time, and right now, Albert's stealing oranges now. This is going to be rough for Hajizi when he comes back.
And you can see Psycho really roams in towards the mid as well. They're having 2 members right over the lower side of the map. And this Lord right here is the terminator of the entirety of this game, which honestly, Omega Esports hasn't been able to find a safe way to even get those pick in this sort of sense.
Yeah, no, it's because of, again, a vision that Omega Esports has is trumped by the mobility that RRQ Hoshi has right now, right? Like, again, Gideon mentioned the forward flicker by Heath. If he only knew that there was no one in the bush. I think Yelly Hayes hasn't warded that area yet. If you only knew that he was right in his face, he could have used that mobility to close the gap. But right now, nice catch. That's going to be Lemon caught by the ejector, and he's going to get blasted down. Heath trying to run, save his life, and he survives. But look at Albert looking to just cut the waves. Oh, it's a silent cold war between Kenji and Albert.
Both sides just not letting up here, but at the end of the day, who wins out in these later stages? I mean, Yelly Hayes, he's going to take some damage. Psycho is just going to chase him down, and nope, rest of the team back off, and they could, I mean, I don't think Lemon wants to fight without his ult here, so Psycho has got to be real careful.
Psycho right in between all these members of Omega Esports, not looking all too great. As much as he has immortality, he can buy only very a few seconds in towards this match, but he's trying his best to make it out alive. Lemon, as much as he's nearby, look, he's getting out of this. I take my words back.
Psycho things! Madman!
He's getting away with too much here, and I think, you know, Omega and RRQ Hoshi, like, it's in Omega's hands to look for this engagement here, and RRQ, as you can tell, clearly will not initiate anything unless they can guarantee that pick, and at this point, Vin, he's a little too scared to walk forward, because the moment he does, Heath is going to unstoppable ejector him back in towards the enemy team, and there's really not a lot of counterplay to that other than hope that he doesn't fly back too far or the rest of Omega can't catch up after he flickers.
Gentlemen, we are already hitting 30 minutes of play, and it's pretty much on even grounds at the very moment. Everyone's just buying potions at
Which
this
is
time.
impressive because RRQ Hoshi, they have no more turrets, and they're still this aggressive.
Yeah, and as much as this tree turret stands from the side of Omega Esports, it's currently untouchable.
Yeah, so it's more of, again, a standstill right now. RRQ Hoshi, that's going to be our 7. Black Dragon Form catches Yelly Hayes off. Lemon finishes him off. That's already a -1. And looking at the map in general, Omega Esports not going to find an easy.
He just gets away with everything on the line, just pulling every aggro that he can possibly get. And this constant split push will not stop at all, but Lemon, he could possibly solo this if Omega does not pay attention.
I mean, Omega definitely knows that this is going on. However, they have to send members to the other side of the map, and Albert, he's able to control this, and he's going in for the full engagement.
Oh, there's going to be Heath. His immortality pops inside. He has a few shields to buy time. Oh, Carteezy, just in time. Crossbow tank, and they burst him. That's Heath taking down R7. Where is R7? That's going to be Carteezy. Oh, Carteezy as well. They're running away. Oh, can Psycho finish him off? Lemon from behind. Kenji gets him. That's Psycho taking down Carteezy. 1-1 off the table right now. Kenji flicker saves himself just in time, and now there's Hajizi. There's two chances at a steal here. Hajizi and Kenji. I don't know. Yelly Hayes needs to start clearing waves, and yo, this might be RRQ's. I feel like RRQ is more confident this time around.
Like it should be. However, the Selena and those abyssal arrows could be the game changer. Vin is waiting for the catch. He gets caught out himself.
Oh, Vin is still alive because they are gonna burst down Yelly Hayes, and Yelly Hayes is still in this. Vin gets destroyed. Hajizi gets him from behind the delayed damage. Gets down Yelly Hayes, and there's still 4v3. Hajizi survives. Psycho's chasing him. Oh, they're looking for the juke, and what a transform! Oh, they're gonna find him anyways. Get still in this. There's not enough damage from the side of Omega though.
Like on here, going strong, this brawl is gonna go. Kenji finally gets taken, the ejector out the side go. This is finally looking good for RRQ. My goodness, Omega, they've got to be real frustrated about this entire situation.
So just look at the waves that's already crashing right in.
Oh, this is something that RRQ Hoshi has to watch out for as well. Again, note, they can join fights as long as they want, but if they don't manage their waves, it could end in the blink of an eye. And I think all of these long team fights, it's resulted in, again, more members of Omega coming back, but finally this is third Lord. I can say confidently, it's gonna go definitely to RRQ Hoshi. Oh, definitely. Close. I thought there was another Vince situation.
Yeah, it almost could have been in that sort of sense with Heat being so close by, and unfortunately things are starting to open up for the side of RRQ Hoshi, and Esports had to back away and retreat, not having Hajizi as well as Kenji around. There's so many switch of itemization going
on, and we've seen the Rose Gold Meteor being bought there by Crazy.
Yeah. Kurt's swapping around. That last slot is his juggle slot.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be important that teams know how to juggle their items, especially this late. Oh wait, hold on. This is the pick of a lifetime. Bin is getting chunked back, but this could be the fight that they've been looking for.
Like the final blow by Psycho, trying to dive in and take out the Softies from behind. He is destroyed here by Lemon, and Psycho able to just maintain pressure here, just escort Lord into this inhibitor, and that's going to be Kenji getting blasted down by Lemon. Ladies and gentlemen, carry is back. That's going to be the push on all three in hit for Omega Esports. Kurtizi taking down Bin. That's going to be a crossbow of Tang. Hajiji destroyed here. It's just a matter of time. They just need to focus down on the base. And ladies and gentlemen, Kings take game number one after a long, drawn out game
Gila.
here in the very last day. The last game of day one in the playoffs.
34 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. This has to be the longest game in the playoff runs thus far. And my oh my, what a comeback coming from the Kings of Kings.
Contra, my friend, that is the longest game of all time here. Butters, what do you have to say? I can see you rubbing your eyes like, oh my goodness, I've been staring at the screen for 30 long minutes.
30 long minutes, and to be honest, it could have gone both ways. It's a battle of having the less errors, and the 1-1 was looking great. Omega looked great at the early stages of the game. They made a few mistakes along the way. RRQ capitalized on it, and the Kings of Kings are actually the Kings of comebacks as well.
I think we've been sleeping on RRQ. It's so weird to say that we've been sleeping on RRQ. In the past few days have always been about, Alter Ego this, Brand New Sports that, but ladies and gentlemen, y'all forget, we are actually in the midst of our champion here. It's so far the strongest team in the playoffs. I mean, if you're able to win a 30-minute game like this against a team that is just refusing to go down, just as Omega Esports did, then I don't know. I'm looking at Burmese Ghouls right now, remembering how they swept Bren, but I'm all the more impressed here with RRQ. Definitely.
It has to be the game of the day, right? We just look at a masterful play coming from both ends, and even the times where Lemon was so off position, I just felt that there are moments that Omega Esports could have, would have, should have capitalized, and they weren't paying attention to the right things at those critical moments.
I think honestly this boiled down to one of a very few things. And also Esmeralda on the table. So RRQ Hoshi bans out the 1-1 and says, hey, let's open up the entire draft. Pick one.
That's it. I think Esmeralda should be key here for Omega Esports, if not the Jawhead, which, I don't know, I have to be honest, in game number 1, Heath Jawhead, again, was found in spots he should not have any business.
I kind of find it weird that they start off with an Esmeralda without Toshi.
What?
Toshi is the one who's actually playing hero for Omega for the longest time.
I trust Kenji and Cortese. I think it's fine.
But stats don't lie, though.
That's those.
Hey,
That's those.
hey, if stats don't lie, talk to me about Bren versus Burmese Ghouls.
Hey, man, a lot has changed at one patch. So honestly, I do think that experience does play a part here. But you know what? RRQ Hoshi probably in these situations, they're probably gonna go for. Oh, okay. You know what? I was about to say Jawhead. Throw that out of the picture. That is absolutely wrong.
Wow, absolute change of pace here, coming in with a Khalid as well as Sylvana, and we talked a lot about Imperial Justice being a very sort of a big key pick, and man, this is definitely going to be really interesting to just lock people down.
I think for the side of RQ Hoshi, they probably are guessing that Omega Esports would go for a Benedetta or a Cho.
I suppose, but I don't know. The Khalid pick is already throwing me off because why exactly do you need the Khalid this early on? Are you trying to harass the Esmeralda early on? Is that what you're hoping for? Because Esmeralda can easily be thrown in towards the mid lane. You have a wave clearing support, and it's like, oh yeah, she's not off lane anymore.
Then again, we are going to get their 2 picks right now. It's going to be the Benedetta. They step in the trap, or is it a trap? The Jawhead is there as well for Omega Esports.
So good. This is looking like Omega's just playing their game, and I understand why the Khalid might throw off a few signals from RRQ, but I think it's also just a safe pick as a side laner anyways. But again, also questionable because why did they not just go for the Benedetta first or the usual? Like why the Khalid? I guess there's a bigger plan. RRQ Hoshi works in mysterious ways, man.
Exactly, and I think there's something ticking in James's head, and I'm trying to figure it out here. This feels like the Da Vinci Code, and I'm just working backwards to put together the pieces as we're about to finish this last pick. And at this point, it could be anything here.
Yeah.
I kind of get RQ Hoshi wants to break the status quo a bit here, and they really just keep on throwing us off with these kinds of picks. Bruno is their 3rd pick.
Yes, sir. This is definitely a secret sauce that they are unveiling here. So you got something to say before, of course, I can point.
Well, honestly, I think the only reason why they chose Bruno is because Carry is too slow and Claude is counterintuitive. That's basically all I've got so far.
Yeah, and we've already known for a fact that nobody's going to touch a Yishin 1-1 really being banned now. Now, giving a lot of power picks, though, over on towards Omega Esports, like, I'm pretty sure they are ecstatic just to get in towards the program, and we're already seeing a Selena being taken out of the picture here, which Omega Esports was initially going for.
Now, we are going to head to the final ban here of RQ Hoshi. RQ did their research. They banned out the Ling. They do not want it to go to the hands of Hajizi.
And I wouldn't be too surprised if they decided to ban out Hayabusa here on the side of RRQ Hoshi if they want to make, or Claude if they want to make sure that's like, hey, absolutely zero scaling, and they're gonna have to just depend on the Benedetta, who doesn't exactly hyper scale, and Esmeralda, who does, is just really nasty.
Banning out. There are a lot of open heroes here for the side of Omega Esports, though, in terms of the mid lane. You have the Lance. You really have a lot of options. Hell, even Benedetta could go to the mid lane if Omega wanted it to be mid laner or jungler.
Yeah, exactly like what Psycho did in the past game could potentially be a formula that they could take good use of from that page.
Now, we're just waiting for the last possible, well, this is the last ban for the side of Omega Esports. They're taking their time, trying to not rush things. Probably a force with a nice ban here for their side, and they go for a diggy.
Oh, I get the diggy though. I get the diggy. This is shades of what Burmese Ghouls did earlier with their own diggy.
Rafaela, it's a way to stop out. It's a way to help Bruno maneuver through the fight.
Yeah.
And in terms of diggy, you're just going to negate a lot of these Johed, Esmeralda disables, and probably Omega Esports, they're thinking about getting some team fight ultimates going on for their side.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because you don't just necessarily ban out Biggie just for a Sylvana. It just doesn't add up necessarily. But RRQ Hoshi taking up the Rafaela, something very, very interesting. You want to be able to outmaneuver this Esmeralda overall. But again, big ultimates here. What could it be?
Last two picks for this draft of game number 2. It's going to be the Farsa and the Harley.
Okay, so this kind of telegraphs that it is Farsa in mid, Harley in the jungle, and I think they're a little concerned magic damage. I must say, Esmeralda's a hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, true, but for the large majority, she works weird. In the sense where it's like, I kind of do damage, but I give you shield, turn your life into shields, and then steal it away. You know, it's rather interesting, but majority of her damage does come from magic. And RRQ, they're gonna finish it off with the Belleric. Oh, this is such an interesting composition coming in from RRQ. It's definitely something to just kind of watch back later on to understand what is going on.
Wow, the layered events coming in from the side of RRQ Hoshi, though, is definitely gonna be something interesting to watch, especially you have that sustain coming from the Rafaela, going with the holy healings and just keeping them up all night long. Also with the Khalid, which is already kind of tough to deal against. Looking at the Esports pace that we're going in towards game number 2, this draft, which is definitely the first out of the many that is being pulled up from the side of RRQ Hoshi, is keeping our eyes wide open.
RRQ Hoshi, clearly they have a different stand on the meta right now. They are throwing us off, and right now we're trying to decode whatever it is that they're trying to do in this meta. And Omega Esports, they really have to face this. I hope they figure out something in this game, because if not, they're gonna go to the lower bracket. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2, we head up to the Celestial Palace, and Gideon, Leo, and Contra, take it away.
Thanks, Butters. This game is... I'm hoping it doesn't reach all the way to that 30, but RRQ Hoshi wants to start off strong, and when you got a Bruno, and when you have a Rafaela, you just can't help but to look to push them out of their own ship.
Alright, Psycho once more in the roaming role on that Rafaela, and we're trying to decipher slowly what's going on with this lineup. Curtizi juggling these waves, juggling. There seems to be a scuffle here in the river for the Litho Wanderer. Not exactly sure who got it, but Heath was just chilling.
Oh man, and yep, they just ran past him, forced him flick this time around. So not all too shabby after all for a attempt from RQ. So
honestly, I think Heath was just clenching his butt cheeks, just like, don't notice me, as he slowly walked on out and waddled the river.
yeah, like this kind of things don't just go by unnoticed. Most often than not, inevitably. Over on towards the lower side, we do have Kenji versus R7. Oh, first blood.
No, but he's gonna get returned. Wait, okay. I thought he was executed for a moment there. I was like, no way. The passive would have procced at some point.
Would have been amazing. That's what he was just hedging on. And right now, look at this. Kenji baiting out R7. Does he know that Hajizi's waiting here? Oh, there you go. Poker trick. Clearing the win. R7's not having any of it. They go for the crab.
I think overall this game is just going to be like a nice and slow pace here, unless RQ wants to ramp it up by adding gasoline to the little fire that they've started so far, especially since both sides haven't really gone too far ahead, and I think even Khalid is just pulling in his lane, thinking, I don't really need to do anything and hold and protect myself.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I'm definitely keeping my eye on Hajizi as well, as he'll be setting to go in for those picks up and towards the mid-game itself. I'm not sure what kind of patient can he possibly pull up this time, but they're pulling out the turtle.
Alright, here we go. Starting it up. That's 4 members of RRQ Hoshi Omega Esports back Turtle doesn't have Valve. Feather Air Strike pulled in here by Yelia's. Vin gonna be the first target. They're not having any of it. Heath does not have Unstoppable Force, but he has Ejector. Vin gets bursted down, taken out by Hajizi. That's gonna be the Hajizi destroyed by Albert from the back lines. It's 3 hits from the Bruno. That's going to be 2 for none plus a turtle. 2 for 1 make that. Are off 2 of the races.
This is a really good start here because, I mean, even though Omega Esports looked like they had the better engage, the counter engage coming in from RRQ Hoshi was kind of nuts. They were able to hit a large majority, forcing out some big battle spells to purify some flickers from everybody else.
Yeah, and with a lot of all the Survey stuff being burnt out as well, we are already getting little items in. Of course, still pretty much early in the phase. Spot anything interesting, gentlemen?
Not just yet. I think it's still relatively similar, but it's going to be a huge fight here as the Feather and Airstrike comes through, but Lemon is in the backside wanting to stop this move from Barca. She can't even hit wings by wings. Easy is the next to fall. They're diving. Oh my goodness. A triple kill going over to your boy, Albert.
4 for 1. I'll take that any day, plus a good amount of hits on this outer turret energy shield. Nay, making the whole turret taken down not even 4 minutes in. Our teams have drafted the draft they wanted anyways, and if this isn't a hyper push, hyper carry lineup, I don't know what is. Look at this. They're ahead by about 2,500 gold already.
Yeah, and raising the baby strat definitely working very well in favor of the side of RRQ, already feeding 5 kills to Albert, who's pretty much all grown up right now. And my concern is this, they're going to be going for another ping.
Oh, nice ejector, trying to save Heath, but it is all in vain as Lemon gets away. That's going to be deadly magic set in by Khaleesi, but we all know Lemon's going to survive.
This is, oh boy, this is some big moves made by RQ Hoshi. They're pretty far ahead and this early into the game. Wait, no, this could be something a little bit more here because RRQ, the fact that they are rotating between mid and bottom side, they want to break the mid side so they have more space to work with when they're just kind of putting their pressure on the turtle and maybe could even force a chase into the enemy jungle.
Yep, and just go for the mad snowball here. Exactly. Again, they opened up the main artery in mid. They have easy goes at most things, especially turtles, and that's just gonna make her a beast. Easy. Now another big fight. That's gonna be a rattle drive, setting them all in. Lemon destroyed by Hajizi, who I think they started a little too soon.
Yeah, and he definitely was in the wrong place, wrong time as well. Now, Electo, final blow on towards R7. Honestly, not gonna do much to that Khalid.
Yeah, especially with the Quicksand Guard, actually, he is just going to heat up to pretty much full and just continue to just soak up as much pressure as possible with Kartizi. No matter how much damage he gets on him, boom, he gets hit by the ult. Kartizi, R7 could look to finish him off, but Ajizi is there to protect him. Oh, he managed again, and we forgot about the passive. Still alive! He's getting hit by literally everything and walks away like nothing ever happened.
Amazing. He comboed the passive and the execute. I think that was the nail in the coffin that caught Kartizi off. Usually you don't get Kartizi with that, but something's telling me maybe Omega kind of tilted. Maybe it's getting to Omega. The long game, the 34-minute clear, and just this hyper-aggressive draft.
Definitely getting in there. Just look at the way that he plays the Khalid, just flickers right in, and yeah, is doing everything that RQ needs to do just to get straight, direct in towards the heart, not only the head.
It's getting scary here because if this is the tactics that RQ are going to employ just to tilt their opponents, dragging out the 30-minute games, oh no.
Oh, nice use of the Rampaging Sandstorm, forcing Heath to go for the flicker back. Hey, if you're using your opponent's tanks, again, playmaking tanks, skills and battle spells, push them back and just go for failed attempt, it's going to be a non-starter. And if you do this for the next 3 minutes, you're going to see, Albert build up to more than just a Berserker's Fury. I'm seeing maybe a battle, an endless battle in 2 minutes.
I suppose, but I think, like, they got the Berserker's Fury. Endless Battle is probably going to be coming up real soon as well, like you said. But is that going to be enough? Like, once Omega has kind of scaled up and, oh, this is a pick.
Oh, that's Vin. Oh, he's able to get out despite all the deadly magics. Nice pin down. Imperial Justice onto Heath. And, yeah, you're underneath the turret. You turn into a chase like this. It's going to be fine. Esports knows to retreat.
Oh boy, yikes. Just look at how fast he just melted down right there as he tries to go in for the pickup. But even if they managed to get that catch, the rest of Omega Esports wasn't ready to respond to that pick itself. So, not sure if it's miscom or, you know, something that he hopes to just down in the blink of an eye.
Oh boy, Albert is so huge. Sprinting for 1.8k. 1.8k. Let that set for a bit because it's only 7 minutes into the game going to 8.
1.8k, that's about half of most heroes' life bars at this point. And yeah, no quarter here for this tier starting up top. I think that's starting it up. That's gonna be the Air Strike pushing them back. But no, they already set their sights on Heath and take down the Jawhead, as well as this mid lane. The turn inhibitors left standing, save for bottom. This is aggression like we've never seen before, at least in the playoffs. For the draft as unorthodox as this.
I mean, Albert is enabled. They want. Look at that damage. Cortese barely stood a chance. Lemon went over the wall just to try and get him with the Dryas. But luckily, Cortese survives with a sliver of health.
Yeah, Cortese almost dropped right there. And now, I'm just being less speechless on how effective this composition have in Hoshi and Omega Esports now could not really leave the base at the moment. Yep, they got the breastplate up for Kenji, now playing very defensively.
Yo, the breast Kenji feels reactionary. It just feels like, oh, I need to build it because we're dying too soon. I honestly feels miserable right now. Looking at the record here, 4-11, about 7k ahead is RRQ Hoshi. This First Lord here, if they don't do anything that just changes the way that they engage, which I'm struggling to find right now, I do think that it's Lord already. This one, 3 seconds away, and there you go, Albert, already endless battle. I think that's a bit of respect coming up next. Oh, they got it off. Albert uses not even the wave of the world just. That's for the Bruno, and they are going for the throat. They are going for this mid lane inhibitor. Better Air Strike being called off by Yelly Hayes. He's saying they're at our gates. They're at our gates. Mayday.
Mayday, mayday. They're already calling right now as Omega Esports forcing their way out of this one. And RRQ, they're looking to close the game.
Oh no, that gentleman, 10 minutes in, 4 seconds. RRQ shocked the world. 2 Filipino teams back, knocked down into the lower bracket.
Oh my goodness, that has to be one of the fastest games we have seen thus far at M2. And of course, it has to be with the first place runner-up from M1. And the absolute chance here, RRQ Hoshi.
Like, you know it's serious business when he takes off his shoes on stage, right? Like, okay, my socks are starting to sweat, and I gotta get this game quick off. But the way that they drafted this is extraordinary. The Kings, once again, going nearer towards the throne.
Butters, come on in here because what do you have to think about one of the fastest games here at M2?
We had the longest game, and they had the fastest game. Talk about setting records here in the M2 World Championship. RRQ, they shocked everyone. It's like they're playing in another dimension. It's like they're playing in another meta. It's like they're ahead of their time.
Honestly, I think James is just giving himself a pat on the back like, y'all like that draft, huh? Y'all like that draft? Crazy. I think our analysts will break it down in detail, but in just footnote, ladies and gentlemen, it was just basically hyper Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Hyper Albert.
I've never seen Albert so enabled so quickly, ever.
Is this the new funnel? Is this the new funnel strat?
The